Welcome to Dukes United show, and it's not Dukes United show, is it today? It's Let's Talk United weekly. It's going to be a great one. It's the last one of the season, actually, with the FA Cup coming up, with a lot of transfer news coming as well. Players coming, players going, people we like to see come in as well. We got a lot to talk about today. Today we got Garth, we got Hakeem. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Right. So, you know what? Obviously, the season has just ended. We've managed to get our third spot, and we're happy. We're happy. It wasn't done. We didn't scrape it. We done it by enough points, and we done it before the end of the season. The season's finished now, and talk to me, Garth. Talk to me. Who do you think? First of all, do you think, that Ten Hag should be manager of the season due to the fact of how far he's brought us from where we were to where we are now compared to any other team relatively? You tell me what you think. Have you thought about this yet?
Well, I mean, if you caveat it with relatively, as in teams around us, maybe. But no, if you're talking about the whole season, I think it's got to go to Gary O'Neill, possibly the Zegbury at Brighton. I think you've got to look at some of these other managers. Has he done a fantastic job? 100%. Magnificent job, Nate. But yeah, not manager of the year, not for me, not yet, no. Even if he wins the FA Cup, it's still a real good job he's done. And maybe then it starts getting too much. But at the moment, I'd give it to one of the managers from these teams that, like, everyone had Bournemouth going down. You know what I mean? Everyone had Bournemouth going down. Brighton have gone, and their best players leaving. Everyone said that they were going to be in turmoil. They've both done many jobs. So obviously, Pep's got to be in the conversation as well. And Eddie Howe, to be fair, Eddie Howe's got to be in that conversation as well. He's there or thereabouts in the conversation for Nath, but no, he don't win it. He don't win it.
Okay. Hakeem, obviously, I heard it was someone else I heard talking about. I think it was on Talk Sport where they were saying from where we were, we've made the most points on last season. So any other team, if you look at their position from last year to this year, we did gain the most points. I don't know if that makes a difference to you, or do you feel the same? Is he up there but just not winning it, or is he like far behind a few others in your mind?
I think my view is probably similar to Garth, and I think we threw in far too many bad performances to be able to say that he's revolutionised the team. He's definitely got a better team spirit. We've got better results. You're actually proud to watch Man United, apart from maybe the last few games just before the last three. And also, I think we spent quite a lot of money. So I think that when you're talking about, I think Bournemouth is, when Gary O'Neill took over, he took over from Scott Parker, who's basically saying, we're going down, we've got no good players, we can't do anything with this team. And he's done a fantastic job with them. And then if I look at Brighton, the football they play is actually scintillating, to be honest. For him to get what he's done with that team, it's hard to. I'm looking at the players and thinking, how are they playing this sort of football? Whereas with Ten Hag has done a great job, but it's what you'd expect a good manager to do with that squad. Because our issue with Ollie, our issue with Mourinho, our issue with Van Gaal was he's got a squad, but they're underperforming. What Ten Hag has done has made them perform to the level that they should be performing and got the right people in place. So I think, that's important, but I wouldn't put him down as manager of the season, because I think any good quality manager should be able to come into Man United and deliver that sort of performance, to be honest.
Yeah, and just quickly, sorry, Nate, before you give you one as well, a shout out to Roy Hodgson as well for what he did to take over Palace. And like, he ain't in the conversation, but it's a shit, like, he's turned up, really saved their season for him, ain't he? So, what about yourself, Dave? You having him up there, are you then? Ten Hag?
No, it made me think about it a bit more, but at the same time, I kind of edged towards what you guys are saying as well. It's just a case of we have broken certain, like for us to get that amount of wins at Old Trafford as well, back to better than what we've done, that's equaling what Sir Alex Ferguson did. So we hadn't done that for a long time. We were dire last year. We were really bad. He brought in the right players. That was his doing. Again, like after that one lost start of the season, we're winning all them games. We are third, and we've gained like 18 points on last year or something like that. So to be able to do that is a great job in itself. But then when you look at Newcastle, how they've done to be fighting us for that third spot, that's great work. Brighton, as you said, the football they're playing is ridiculous. Like it's so enjoyable to watch. And the fact that we keep saying we still need to get more players to be able to control games. How comes teams like that can have players who are less ability, but still able to control games and really attack you, with crazy numbers. So that's the other side of it. So it depends the way you're looking at it through whichever lens. So for me, obviously as a United supporter, I want to edge towards Ten Hag, but at the same time, I do recognize that a lot of other teams are really pushed as well. And it might, even though we've done more points, it's like the workload to get to where they got to is even more work, if you get what I mean, to be able to do that. So yeah, I can see why the other managers would get that. Just got a couple of comments. Curlers has said, either it's the sexiest man on podcast back or I have turned into Crime Watch. Who stays and who goes? Surely a sale dictates anything at the first season of Ten Hag has shown improvements, but also shown ongoing weaknesses within the team and mindsets. Definitely true. But here's another one, guys. When I first heard of this story, we know it's about Mount. You can see top left, Mount is the first thing we talk about. Mason Mount. When I first heard about it, I was like, no, please, no. Garth was like, yeah, I'm opposed to you, Nath. I think you'll be doing great. And I was like, no. But then I started thinking about it more. I slept on it, and I was thinking, right, if he is, this is my point of view. Garth, you can obviously say what you say as well. If he is brought in for the position as, like to be behind Bruno Fernandes in terms of on the bench and coming on for him and swapping, then I don't want to see him, because I think we need to get a striker in first. And if we're going to spend 70 million and stuff like that, that's ridiculous. But if he's going to go in to be the one to overtake Eriksen, he's 24 years old. He scores over 10 goals, assists over 10 goals. Imagine Eriksen had over 10 goals and over 10 assists. That would be ridiculous. So imagine you've got like at least 8 years of a player who can play in that Eriksen position and be a goal threat as well. I think that would be a great addition if he's going to go in as the 8. And that really doesn't.
And playing in a poor team. And to be honest, I think what you need to say at the beginning of every sentence when me and Garth have an opinion is, "You're right," and we're going to and I'm going to come round, and I'm going to come round to your opinion sooner or later, because that's what happens every time.
Look, I'm quick. I'm straight away. What did I say about Paul Pogba? I ain't changed nothing with him. So don't tell me
yet. Yeah, no, don't worry.
But he did improve. We know what that is. You said he don't have great ability. I say he does. I'll give you 6 months. I'll give you 6 months.
I noticed you've come round to our way of thinking on Martial. So
I'll
leave you 6 months for Pogba.
Even on that,
Pogba might actually play a game in 6 months as well. You never know.
I'm fed up with the fact that he's getting injured from doing nothing. That's what I'm fed up with. And I said, what did I say? And when he was injured last time, I said, we've given him the time to come back.
If it goes down again.
If he goes again, I'm done, because there's a certain amount of time you can be done. And that was my turning point. I said, and then to find out he's torn a muscle after being rested for the final, so he doesn't get injured. And he's injured with like major injury from doing what? What did he do? I don't get it.
Sandwich, mate. Making a sandwich, you're saying. It's Martial. I think the other in Martial is this problem here. Is he always seems to go down injured when we need him the most as well. Because he's always injured. He's out. I'm sure there's loads of times he's out injured when we don't need him. But it always feels like when we really, really need the man, he's out injured, you know what I mean? And I will just say, Curlers, if you ever see me on Crime Watch, mate, I did it. There's no two ways about it. I did it. So, but Martial going down again. It's the frustration. I know you came from that. Every time we think he's just about to come back and give something to this team, because when you think about it, since he's been back, scored 3 goals, actually improved the team a little bit. There's no two ways about it. He has. He's better than Wout Weghorst, but he's now down and out again. Yeah, he's done. He's done. I'll begin to wonder if he's going to be one of them footballers, to be fair. Like, he's done.
Yeah, I think he's done now, you can't come back from that.
and he'll just be a 12 to 20 game a season player somewhere in Europe.
I agree. I agree. I think his injuries will never fix. I've got that now behind me that it will never fix until I see him play a whole season not injured. I'm not going to change my mind. His injuries won't ever fix ever. So go on at Hakeem. Then go on. You ramble it. Kill him off first, and then go on to the Mount situation. But before that, Curlers has said the pasta's cooking in the Martial household is on another level.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think
violent cooking.
I think Martial basically was probably out on the town with Pogba. But anyway, so no, I think I have been down on Martial and Pogba since probably their second seasons in the club. Not because they haven't got the ability, it's because they have got the ability. And I know people always say, "Oh, you can't say he's not putting effort in," but then they never look like they want it. They never look like they're busting the gut. They never look like, if I look at Bruno, Bruno looks like he's going to die if he doesn't win. That's what I want to see in a Man United shirt. Martial, whether we win, lose or draw, he doesn't seem to give a toss. And he's injured. He doesn't seem to be bothered. He's never bursting to get on, and then he blamed Ollie before. Oh, it's Ollie was making me play injured. Well, no one's making him play injured now, and he's still just as bad. So, forget him. In terms of Mount, I actually think Mason Mount in the England setup is one of the most underrated players England have got, actually. Well, I've watched him a lot at Chelsea, and he's absolute quality on the ball. He's box to box. He can hold he's very good positionally. He's got a good shot on him. He can take the ball past players. I think he's a definite succession to Eriksen. He's a young lad. He's got all the skills Eriksen's got, but I think he's actually got more power. I think he's got more power than Eriksen. So if we get Mason Mount, I would be absolutely over the moon. I think he's a quality player. I've as soon as I heard that, I was thinking, yes, that's exactly the sort of player we need to be going to get. He's known in the Premiership. He knows it. He doesn't have to start getting up to speed with anything. He understands it. He just gets in. He starts playing, and I think he'd have a great relationship with people like Casemiro and Bruno. Absolute quality.
Garth, you can go on yours and then answer to that one, because that's what we've been saying as well.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's my point entirely. I think I agree. Eric King says I agree entirely. That's what I said to start with him. I think he complements his team very well. I think he's got that dog in him as well, which clearly Ten Hag likes with his players. When you look at the players, he's like, even Wout Weghorst, like he likes players with a bit of fire about him. He's got that in as well. Quality player, but if we start broaching 70, 80 mil sterling for him, that becomes a problem in my book. He's a 50 mil player. You know what I mean? So
60 at the most, I would go.
That's what I'm saying. 50 to 60 mil, 60 mil for the premium, because he's English. So 60, that's what I mean. 50 mil, 60 mil premium. You start talking 70, 80 mil. You're looking. We need Harry Kane or a striker. We need the striker big time. So I like the kid a lot. I think he's a great player. I agree with Hakeem Tyler. I think he's very underrated in that England setup. And I'd love to see him in a Man United shirt, but not at 80 mil, not at 80 mil.
I think on that, it just very much depends how much money we got in it. So if you're saying, because
Casemiro came in for a lot, didn't he? As well.
Yeah, exactly. So. And so did bloody Anthony, and so did Maguire. But so if getting Mount for 80 million means that we can't afford Harry Kane, then obviously you're not going to go for Mount, are you? But I think if you can get Mount, you can get, as in, you get Mount for 80 million, you get Kane for whatever, 120 million, you pay for a few others, and we can still afford it. I'm not bothered. But if it's about, you've got to toss up, then 70 million for Mount is, that's a lot of money, because he hasn't played as much this season as previous seasons.
No.
But I still rate him.
Yeah, this is the thing. A lot of people are saying that we're done by this FFP as well. So we have to sell to buy if we want to get all the players we want, so then it can work. And also then there's this English thing where we need an English amount of players, and certain players who are going to go, they're likely to go. A lot of them are English. So we have to keep that quota of a certain amount of English players as well. So it does work out that I was thinking about a few things, because Fred looks like he may be going. We're going to go into that in a sec. But as for Mount, I think he was saying something to do. It is why pay big money when they need to sell. That's true. But let's see what happens with that side of it. But the other side is when Mount comes into this side, he won't be seen as the main man having to produce the goals or the assists. People will kind of like like forget about him. And then he goes and gets so many more goals and assists. I think that's what he's going to be. And that's what I was hoping Pogba was going to be, where he would come in and nobody would have to think about him. And then he's that guy who goes under the radar and gets goals and assists like he did for Juve. He weren't the main man. The others were better than him. And that's what I want to see with Mount when he comes in here is everyone's looking at Bruno. Everyone's looking at Casemiro. Everyone's looking at the attacking front three. And then Mount just pops up somewhere and bangs a goal because he's got that. And Eriksen's been in the position so many times. Even though he's got great techers, he hasn't hit the target enough and he hasn't scored enough. He ain't made the keeper work enough. So I think that will definitely bring more goals to our side. So, I'm happy with that.
But while I agree with you entirely about that's what Mount should be, this is the problem. If you start talking 80 mil for a player, that anonymity goes out the window. It becomes a thing. Whereas if he signs for 50, is exactly what you're saying, 50, 60 mil. It can go. But then again, are we just old? Is 80 mil
not the word anymore?
Price? Is that the standard price for like top end?
Who is the player?
Top end player, yeah.
Who's the player that went? Was it Schneiderlin? Was it no? Who was the player who was like he came from Southampton and went to Everton for 50 mil?
Schneiderlin,
yeah. He wasn't a 50 mil player. If he's 50 mil, Mason Mount is 80 mil. This is
and that's the point. It's basically it's a seller's market, isn't it? And we even though Chelsea need to sell, they know that United need a midfielder and they need a British midfielder. So therefore, the price automatically goes up. So 80 million now. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it. 78 million is not. Anthony went for 70 something million. But the Maguire, like what's that, 3-4 seasons went for 80 million. Pogba came for 89 million. And I would say that Mount is more critical than all of those players for our team. And he's less than them, and he's going to be, and he's more effective. He's proven he's more effective. So that's why you're right. In just because of our age, 80 million seemed like a ridiculous amount for a midfielder. When what Paul Scholes would have probably gone for about flipping 5 million. So
mate, because you imagine how much I was having this conversation with someone the other day, how much some of them players in that 99 team
bloody hell.
Like how much Paul Scholes, if Mason Mount's going for 80 mil,
200 mil, mate.
200 and the rest, mate.
Yeah, 250 maybe.
250
that's ridiculous.
Beckham's going for 250, 300.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Yap Stam's going for mental.
My God.
They're all 200 mil. All of them are 200 mil.
Yeah, they're just all top end players.
So that would be ridiculous. But then that leads me on to the FFP talk and the fact that we might need to sell to buy. And we saw the manager of Fulham having a chat with Fred. And then it came out that rumors that he may be leaving to free up some money. So then we can go and get players with a bit more techers, a bit more ability to hold the ball and become a possession-based team. Now with Fred, I got a feeling he's probably worth somewhere between the 35 to 40 mil area. Now, if we did get that for him, would that mean that Mount would be possible? Because then you're only really spending 20, 30 mil or 40 mil, if you look at it that way. Would you not mind so much if Fred went for 35, 40 and then you got Mount for the 60 or even 70? Would you think of it like that, or what, Garth? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, that's a good way. That's a good way to look at it. I think as I'm talking through it now, I'm beginning to think that actually 70. It just isn't that much for a player of Mason Mount's quality. That it just like I still don't want to see us. I think we're in a position where we can't afford 70 mil on a midfielder when we need a striker. That's where I'm coming from on this. Not that Mason Mount ain't worth that money, but. Yeah, listen, if Fred's a great player, but he must be 30. He must be, he is 30, I know he is. He must be on, 130 to 175 a week, easily.
Yeah.
Great signing for Fulham. Great bit of business for everyone. I agree with what Jonathan's just about. This is what I was just about to say. Jonathan, there's no way we're getting 40 mil for Fred. You're talking 20 to 25 mil, absolute maximum for Fred. There's no way we're getting 40 mil.
How much did he come for? Was it 40 mil?
50 mil.
Yeah, no, 40, I think it's 49, 49.
Maybe 35. I think maybe 35. 30 to 35.
And if you're talking Fulham as well, you're talking 20, 25 mil. I think it's more about, I'd take 20 mil for Fred to get his wages off the books so that we can get our players in. I know what you're saying, Nate. He probably is worth more than 20 mil. Like, probably
But even
is.
then, it's fine. Even if he goes for 25 mil,
Yeah,
that's
25
still, like,
mil.
you could
Just
spend
get
50 mil and then you're fine. Like, you could spend
Plus-
45 mil on Mount and then
Yeah.
25 mil from that recouped. There's no problem.
exactly.
to be fair.
Yeah, so whichever way you put it, whatever money we get for him, we put straight back into Mason Mount. I'm happy with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Hakeem
he's been a good
Beautiful?
servant to the club. Much
Yeah,
maligned, but I like Fred.
Yeah,
So.
I do as well. I do. He's done a great job for us as a squad player overall. When you look at it, even through the struggling times, there was times where he came and he actually led us at times. I remember when we battered City one game, and he was the man of the match, not making people became Brazilian.
Fred. Oh yeah. He's got some Brazilian in him sometimes. I just think he's only like a quarter Brazilian. He's lying on his passport. He comes from just outside Brazil. You know? He's Peruvian or Bolivian, really. Say it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a good. I think when he plays with McTominay, he's terrible. The two of them together just don't work. But when he's playing with other people, he's got ability. Yeah. I think he's just a bit too inconsistent. So if he went, he's not one of those. He's not in my Pogba bracket where you sort of like saying, "Yeah, I'll drive you to bloody wherever myself." But you'd wave him off and say, being a good servant to the club, good squad player, and wish you all the best. But I mean, you want his wages off, because in terms of the next stage and the next phase for United, he's not good enough. Really, we need more quality that can come on, because the biggest issue with him is he doesn't hold the ball. He gives. I've never seen someone give the ball so much. He's like, and you're thinking it's a 5-yard pass. Oh, how have you passed it out? How have you passed it out of play from there? And when you're under pressure, you can't afford to have that. You need to be able to control the ball in tight spaces, and that's where he struggles. So no, I think he's been a great squad player, but if you could get rid of him for 20, 25 million and get Mason Mount for 70, 80, I'd be very happy with that. Nice bit of business.
Well, that's good.
When Fred's bad, he is awful. It's one of the most frustrating ballers. It's them 5-yard passes I keep. Honestly, because I'm bad at football, but mate, I can make a 5-yard pass under pressure. Like, I can do it. You know what I mean? I can do it, mate. Come on, you're
when you're in that middle, though. You know what I will say? When you're in the middle of the park as a defensive midfielder, it's very. If you're not a defensive midfielder, it's very difficult, man. It's like people coming at you from all angles, and you can't. That's why it's a specialist position for a reason. Like McTominay can't do it, and the reason why since Carrick we didn't have anybody that was good enough, and then Casemiro comes. So it's few and far between. There's not many out there that are even specialists now. So for him. Go on,
sorry, okay. Like I say, Curlers is the one. What he's written. That's the geezer I would bring in definitely from Fulham. 100%. As a backup. All day. All day, mate. It's
no Indeed, not even free Rabiot. That's another one of free.
Rabiot's not a DM again, though, is he? He's not like Paulista is. No, Rabiot's more of an 8 than anything, isn't he? He's got 6,
Well, I'm not having.
But Palista's an out and out. He's an out and out DM Palista, isn't he? He comes in and he takes that right. Like, he's already done a year in the Premier League. The only problem is, if Fulham ain't going to be silly, they're going to be selling him for 60, 70 mil as well. So like, that's another one off the books, really.
Go on, Hakeem.
I was just going to say the question you just asked about Ndidi. So if you went back 3 seasons ago, I'd have taken Ndidi, Tielemans, and what's his face, the posing
Maddison.
What's his name? Maddison, yeah. But bearing in mind they wilted like a cheap suit this season, and but it's true, isn't it? And that's the core. For you to get relegated and get battered, it means that core is not. I mean, when everything's going well, they're great, but under a bit of pressure, they couldn't take it. And I think there's too many people who come to United who just cannot take the pressure. And I think that after what I saw last season, I'm not sure that they're United caliber players. They've definitely got the ability, but can they take the pressure when it's really on?
Yeah, big call. And someone might take this and clip it, but for me, James Maddison is one of the most overrated players in the Premier League. Like, he's decent, but Mount's a better player than Maddison. He's just a better player in general. How Maddison he's got great PR. He's got great PR, Maddison. There's no two ways about it. Good player. But of all of them, Tielemans is the one I'd ever look at, Nathan. I'd have a quick look at Tielemans on a free.
I'm just taking a look at Rabiot all seasons. If you can see this, I'm sure you guys can see this. He's played 95 times in central mid, and he's played 11 times defensive mid. So You're right. He is not a DM.
He's a defensive-minded midfielder, but he just isn't.
He's a CM, yeah. He's a CM.
He's
an
not a
Eriksen kind of
DM.
position,
Yeah. He's not
Yeah.
an out-and-out defensive midfielder like Casemiro is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just
But,
ain't that player.
Okay,
On a free, great signing on a free. Really bolster. He takes the Sabitzer role, doesn't he? As that backup central midfielder, all-round midfielder. Great player. Got a lot of off-field issues, from what I understand. I don't know much about that, but apparently his mum and him are pretty tight, and she runs the house. So
she's the agent. She's the agent. He's the agent.
Yeah.
Anyway, that leads me on to the next topic, which you said. Obviously, Fred is not of the levels. There's some news that came out today. It was I seen it coming since the start of the season. To be fair, we all knew it was going to happen. The minute the season's over, you get this news. Man United willing to pay Harry Maguire 10 million to leave Paper Talk. I know
you know what? I would be willing to go and put 10 million on my house to get rid of Harry Maguire. I just never want to see him in a red.
You live in a nice area, Hakeem, don't you, mate? You get a 10 mil. You get a 10 mil on your manor. I didn't realise, bruv. Get my Christmas list for you.
You're flying, you.
No, I mean, I would do anything to get him out of Man United. He's been. I feel a bit sorry for him because he's just been. It can't be nice being a footballer and you're that bad, and it's like unanimous. Everybody just wants you out of the club. It's got to be horrible.
Yeah, it is. And even like the people who come in and try and like defend him and try and say like he's been the best defender, this and that. And then you say, how much would you get for him? And they say, yeah, probably 20, 30 mil. And you're saying, how can you say that alongside that? Like it just doesn't go together. It just doesn't. And I think it's just fair for him to get going and get back into the comfort zone of where you're not having a nosebleed all day every time you jump on the pitch. So I think it'll make sense for him to move on and get paid that money. That's great money to get paid. Listen, he won the lottery the day he came, and he's going to win the lottery again. So how happy can he be? So thank God Hakeem can drive him to wherever he's going. Worst event I've seen. Thank God. Yeah, so
Hakeem's butler and driver are driving Harry Maguire wherever he needs to be. So whichever one, Hakeem's man is taking him wherever he needs to go. So yeah, listen, when you first read the headline, it's very misleading. Like, we're going to pay him 10 mil. When was it the video you sent? When you work out the maths, we'll be saving over the 2 years about 12 mil on his wages. He will earn about 22 mil over the next 2 years. If we pay him 10 mil, we save 12 mil. That can go into
pay him up 50%.
Yeah. So why not? What that does tell me though is no one wants him. Because there's no way the director of football and our agents and stuff haven't had his name out there to all the other clubs in the Premier League, to the clubs in Spain and Italy. Like, he's going for cheap. You can get him 15 mil, 190 grand a week. No, thank you, mate. Like, no, thank you. We'll take him on a free. Like, when he's like, you can speak more to this, Nathan. I don't know. Is that how it works? If you're his agent, are you, and you know he's going, are you making calls to other clubs saying he's available? Do you want him?
Yeah,
you are, So
that's
no one wants him.
The clubs that have always said they like him, isn't it? And like, say, listen, we are in the end of the season. He's not playing. We know he's not playing. We need to get him on the move. You fancy taking him? Fancy taking him? We won't take a wage cut though. Oh yeah. See you later, mate. Bye.
Yeah.
Won't take a wage cut? You crazy? Yeah, so that's what will happen. Jonathan Martin says
he's going to have to if he's going to, like, here we go. What Jonathan Martin's saying. So
he says, talking coming to my club, Villa. I hope not. Give him to Spurs. Yeah, imagine Dyer and Maguire. That would be the worst ever partnership ever. Because Dyer's
West Ham. I will say this, and we've said this about Maguire a lot. And there's no disrespect to some of these other clubs, and I mean that to Villa, to Jonathan's team, to West Ham. Harry Maguire does all right in these teams because he isn't the main man. He isn't the captain of Man United. He isn't expected. You'll play a different philosophy of football. I actually think he does very well in Italy, Harry Maguire. He's got the traits to be an old school 90s defender, and that still works out there in Italy just about. But top end. Do you know? I'm saying that, no, clear, but that's the problem. He's going to have 190 grand a week. No one wants to pay him that, so we can't get rid of him because no one's going to buy him. We have to let him go on a free.
We'll pay him up, let him go, mate.
Yeah, if it's going to cost 10 mil, stuff it.
You know how bad that is to let him go? Like, to let him go and pay him his money.
What a record transfer.
England captain. Like to let him go is ridiculous, and that just shows that the manager's doing a great job by playing him the amount of games he played him to make sure it didn't hurt the team, and also try and keep him like worth something, if you get what I mean, and never say anything really like negative on him, and to try and hope that you can get the most for him. And then it still didn't really work out, and they basically said, "Listen, time to move." So I'm happy that it's happened for the 70 years. Yeah. What's up?
The best description you gave.
The best way to keep his value would have been to keep him on the bench. Every time he played, it just convinced everybody how bad he was.
That's what's mad to me is that an Everton or a Villa or a West Ham aren't coming out with a cheeky 10 mil bid for him. Like, we're having to release it. That's how bad it's been for him.
We'll pay that 10 mil for you.
We'll give you 10 mil. Just get out of the club. And like you said, at 30 years old as well, he's got one big move left in him. So I wish him the best. I'm happy. I'm happy that he lifted a trophy of Man United. You know what I mean? But he's been. Yeah, it's been bad. Like you said to begin with, Dave, I know people give him that second season or first season when he's done all right, but even then, it weren't spectacular performances for what was meant to be, and still is to this day the most expensive defender in world football.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like the total opposite, isn't it? It should be the total opposite, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? Not much you can do. Some players get that. I'm telling you, it happens in football. I've seen it many times where certain players, they're just the guy that people want to just push, and they push him no matter what. They push him. So, well done to him. At the end of the day, when it comes to man, well done to him. But because it's just football talk we're talking here, it's obviously we're not happy with the football side of things, and that's the way we should always keep it. Just a football. Obviously, nothing wrong with him as a person. No, I don't even know him, so I got nothing against him at all. But when it comes to football, I don't want to see that level of football in my club. And there's many players that happens. Bellion came and went. He was not the best player. We
didn't spend 80 mil on Bellion. We spent like 800 grand on him, mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But when they're not good enough, they're getting shit straight away. Like we got Taibbi. Remember, we got Massimo Taibbi in goal,
my God.
And then he fell over and he's like glitching on the pitch. So you said, "Listen, you're not ready for Man United. You're not ready to play at United. Let's go."
Yeah, but Fergie was the best of that, man. Fergie was, that's what I said before, exactly right, man. He will cut you loose if you're not good enough. Even if you are good enough and he upsets you, a la Yap Stam, they're cutting him loose.
Audio Maguire. Oh my God. The reason why I keep getting picked, I'm the man. Oh, the amount of things he said was so funny. He dug himself a hole big time. But look, that's enough. Thank you.
But to be honest, I think a lot of the time, if Man United is a big club and you can't cope. Look at Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling's bloody a revelation in Italy. He was like Bambi on ice at United.
I thought it was much better than Maguire. No, and I don't know why we brought him in.
In retrospect, because I agree with all the time. In retrospect, hindsight being 2020, Chris Smalling is a better player than Harry Maguire. But at the time, what Keane's saying is entirely right. We were digging Smalling and Jones out. They weren't.
We were.
They weren't good enough. They weren't good enough. You know what I mean? So, as much as I agree that Smalling is a better player than I don't Smalling in the England team still, because I go with form with players. I think if a player's in good form, you pick that player because he'll bring that into the squad. But that's a different matter entirely. But we've done poorly with our centre backs for a while. And now we've got Varane and Martinez. So that just shows you the golfing class.
Well, here's the question for you on this anyway. The question is, him and Jay, whatever his name is, we're looking at getting him in. It looks like there's rumours that we've already agreed something that we can get him. That's great if we can get something for Maguire and it offsets the money on him too. Because that will mean, again, we're not spending too much money on another player coming in that's going to improve our side, and then getting out a player who's obviously not good enough for the side. So that will also work if we are like restricted by FFP, then that will also be another great swap kind of, one in, one out deal. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I like it. I don't know much about this Kim Min Jae. Everything I've read, I said to you in the group, everything I've seen, he's the perfect player for a 10 arc system. Great passing ability, great strength, great speed. the Napoli gaffer called him the best centre back in the world. And like I said to you, any centre back with a nickname like the Monster is a good centre back. I don't need to see him. If he's called the Monster, I never saw Miguel Angel Nadal play, but I know he's called the Beast. Like, I did see it. I am old enough to see him play, but still, yeah. Listen, everything sounds right, and it's only 40 mil. So buyout clause on him, 40 mil.
That's
so
not bad, to be fair.
Yeah,
get anything from Maguire, and then that money.
So it's 50 mil for him, 10 mil to get rid of Maguire, and then 40 mil for the transfer. So 50 mil for him, and then we're away, ain't we? So that he sounds great. I don't know if either of you have heard anything about him or seen him. I've not seen much of him, but from what I've read, he sounds awesome.
Hakeem, what you say?
I haven't seen much of him, but as with everybody, you read about him, you hear what people say about him, you look at his stats. The guy's a quality centre back. We need that because Varane gets injured a lot. It seems to be a bit of a theme with French players, actually.
Yes,
but,
yes, all three. Yeah,
exactly. So you actually need someone who can cover to make sure that actually when one of the Martinez or Varane's injured, you're not weakening the team. So and actually, I haven't seen him play, but based on what they say, he might actually replace Varane.
That's what I've said. That's what I think.
Yeah, because he's solid and he's quality, and I think that that sort of price for a world class centre back, you'd snap your hand off for it.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that'd be two pieces of great business if we did that end of the season. Get Mount in, Fred out, and then Min-Jae in for Maguire. That's a great improvement for next season. I think even no matter how Min-Jae is, he's got to be better than Maguire anyway. So I don't mind however he comes in. At least that is someone who's touted to be a top defender. Let's take that chance and see whether we can do it in the Premier League as well. So I'm really happy with that.
At that price, you can't. And don't forget, Nath, talking of injury-prone players, we have got Eric Bailly back next season as well. He comes back off his own after his cruciate ligament. Like, how long's he been out for? I don't even remember.
Yeah, but don't worry. Don't worry about him. He'll be in prison soon for grievous bodily harm after what he did.
Did he absolutely maul someone? Did he on the pitch?
He was banned for about. I think he was banned for about 10 games.
Mortal Kombat finished it. He finished it in Mortal Kombat style. And then visited him in hospital. Saying, sorry, man. I just got that game.
I remember that bit. I do, but I didn't realize,
Gone crazy. Jonathan says he wants to get rid of Bailly as well. Jones is going, but get rid of him too. Look, man, it is the case. But last time we had a chat about this, I'm not sure if I spoke to you guys about it, but player of the season for Man United. I know it's a bit of a mad one, a bit of a tough one, because every player that I think about, there's been some kind of like disruption to their season to kind of not let them get clear of someone else. There's been like quietness from Rashi for me during a certain part of the season. And then you've had Casemiro being suspended for a certain part and Martinez getting injured for a certain part. They're my three that I've got. Out of those three, or if there's someone else you think like Bruno, who's been on it all season, he's probably in team of the season. You've got them four who are, and then Shaw has been very good at left back, to be fair, and then coming in at centre back when players have got injured, he's been very consistent all season long. So there's a few players that when you look at it, you don't get that amount of clean sheets for no reason. Number one, you don't get third for no reason, and you don't win a cup and then a final of another cup as well, and beat the best team in Europe, one of the best teams in Spain, which is Barcelona this season, by accident. I think overall it's been great. There's been obviously downs, but there's been much more ups. But who out of all them players do you think, Garth, is your main man that really pips it?
If Casemiro hadn't been out for a third of the season, then it's easy choice. It's an easy choice of Casemiro. He's definitely had the most impact on this team coming in. But I do think availability is a massive commodity in this sport. So I don't think you can give it to him because he's been out for, like I say, it's literally a third of the season we've missed him. I think it's got to be Rashford just for the goals. I'm not usually someone who gives awards for goals, but when you look at the rest of our team, we'd be nowhere without Rashford's goals at all. Martinez, excellent. I'll give you that. Shaw, excellent. But yeah, I've got to give it to Rashford. I can't think of anyone else who deserves it more than Marcus Rashford, apart from maybe Casemiro, But as I've just laid out my disclaimer, no Casemiro. So yeah, Rashford number 1, then
give me a top 3.
Martinez. Yeah, then Martinez, then Casemiro, 1, 2, 3.
Then Bruno. Then is that 4?
Yeah.
That the 4? Yeah.
No, do you know what? That's the problem with Bruno. Like Bruno, realistically, should be right up there. But I'll probably go Shaw in at 4th because Shaw's been really good all season. Bruno's given us a Bruno season. Bruno hasn't given us above his what he's capable of.
What we've seen of him.
I've got to give a shout out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. If they did most improved player in the Premier League, then it's without a doubt Aaron Wan-Bissaka. For Man United, that is, yeah.
Comeback of the season.
For me, yeah. For me, Rashford, yeah.
Garth's reading my notes. I've literally got here Wan-Bissaka, most improved player of the season, and then I've got Martinez, Casemiro, Rashford, and Bruno, and I've given it to Rashford as well because it's the first man who's scored 30 goals since Van Persie. What was that? 2011, 2012.
10 years.
So I don't think you can see past that. Because actually you could almost give him the most improved as well because last season and the season before he was rubbish, and then all of a sudden he's come in. So I think Rashford for me, and behind him I'd have to say Martinez because Martinez has been he's transformed that defense not just in terms of shutouts, but attitude and also his passing ability. I mean, he gets the ball. I like watching him on the ball, and he's a defender.
Yeah.
You know, he's just calm and cool, and he sets off all the attacks. If he finished the season, I'd have given it him. But then, I'd say Rashford. I'd have Rashford, Martinez, Casemiro, and then Wan-Bissaka's most improved.
Not bad. You know what? You guys have pretty much said what I'm thinking. Rashford, in terms of the goals, been amazing, and when he was on his hot streak, he was actually playing very well and scoring goals for fun. I think earlier on in the season, he was not playing well and scoring. Then he went through that spell of on fire. Then he went through a spell of not really doing much and then scoring every now and again. So it's kind of like it's a season of 3 parts for him. But overall, to get 30 goals and know that you could have got 40 or 45 from the amount of misses he had in just those 2 European games alone, Europa games in the qualifiers, he could have had 10 goals in those 2 games. Thinking about it, and they were clean, easy chances. So we know there's a lot more to come from him. And to be fair, for people to not put him above, like, let's say your likes of Grealish, just because of how well he's been playing, even though there surely comes a point where that amount of goals more being scored and that amount of assists means something. Like, it's got to mean something more than Grealish playing well.
Since David Ginola won it in '97, mate, I've always known that Man United don't win personal awards, man. We just don't get them. Just look at Ronaldo never winning the Ballon d'Or when he was at Man United, etc., etc. You go on through it. We don't get personal awards. I don't know why. Even when we were winning everything, we weren't winning them awards really. David Beckham won a couple, Denny Giggs won a couple, but in reality the PFA player of the year should have been a Man United player every year from 94 to about 2003, you know what I mean? But, pretty much. Grealish is everyone's hot. I like Jack Grealish a lot, but for people to even be talking about him in front of Rashford based on this season's performance, you're talking nonsense. You're talking
absolutely
nonsense.
No sense. But okay.
You
so
don't like Grealish at all, do you? You don't like him. Look at the face.
Grealish is another example of, I think, PR. I'm not saying he's not a bad player. If people didn't talk about him, you'd say, "Oh, he's an okay player." I guarantee, and I know for a fact, I speak to people from other countries. Nobody in other countries looks at Grealish and gets excited at all. There's nobody in Italy. There's no one in Italy, Spain thinking, "Oh, we've got to get hold of Jack Grealish." No one's interested. To me, he's a good Premiership player. That's it. But people talk about him like he's bloody world class. I just don't get it. You know
why? It's because you can't get the ball off him, and if you do, it's a foul. But that don't make you world class. It just means you're good at holding on to the ball. And he's a good passer of the ball. He can get out of trouble. But the thing is, you've got to have assists and goals to make it. Like, you can't be playing in that attacking free and not have over 10 goals. Like, come on, and then be put ahead of everybody on 30 goals. Like, it makes no sense. Like, you can't do that. That's just not fair. He's a good player.
System as well. That system, because I much prefer Raheem Sterling to Jack Grealish. But look how good Raheem Sterling was in City, and now look at him at Chelsea. you like two different players because you're playing with so much better players. You always, unless you're Harry Maguire, you're gonna look phenomenal in that system. Unless you're really, really poor, you're gonna look good because if you've got any ability, the position of Pep knows exactly where to position people. People are always in the right place, so your passing always looks good because Haaland's there and De Bruyne is next to you. I mean, it's virtually impossible to play badly.
Yeah. You just need to pass
I'll
the
give
ball.
it a go, mate. I'll give it a go.
All you need to do is pass Haaland the ball, and then you've got 20 assists. So you just need to
Wait,
take it.
Nath, I'm an inside forward, mate. I don't pass the ball. You're out of your mind, mate. That's Haaland ain't getting no service from me. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Quickly, just back to Jonathan Martin about Bailly. I'm just look. Apparently, Valencia offered 15 mil for him, like up front, take him off our ends. So,
please,
all day,
I'll
please,
take that, no problem.
Yeah.
So this, we never do a show without a bit of controversy, do we? So, I'm gonna have to bring up my guy that we've been talking about all day, and the reason why I'm bringing him back up, no, forget him. He's gone. He's long gone. So in that news that I just popped up, I'm going to read the rest of it and then we're going to have a little chat. Newcastle to offer João Felix immediate route back to Premier League. Man United agree terms with Mount. Remember when I mentioned Kovacic, who I said I'd like to see come at United? He's now speaking to Man City, who I said the reason why I noticed that was because of his ability to hold the ball under pressure and his ability to wiggle and be a good team player. I felt he could be that one that replaces Eriksen. The only thing is he's a bit older, so we wouldn't have too many years out of him. But But when it comes to João Felix, I say to you guys that he hasn't. Here's my point. He hasn't actually, since his time at Benfica, he hasn't scored loads of goals. But what I see in him as a player is he's got the technical ability of the top players, and he also has the IQ of the top players. And when I wanted him in Christmas, I really hoped that we could do some kind of deal for him. Didn't happen. The minute I saw he went to Chelsea, I said, oh my gosh, what a bad move you've made. A bad move. Same way Sterling has gone there, and it's a bad move for him. He was on 20-something goals. And remember, he didn't score 20-something goals until he went to City either. He was scoring, but not as much. But then, when you look at Felix, I know we're going to talk about the past. So all I'm going to say to you is I ain't got a leg to stand on to tell you that he's already done it in the past and that he's going to do it again. But what I'm saying is I'm seeing it before it happens. I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and tell you now, if he comes United, he'll be great. And if he goes to Newcastle, it's a great move for him. And we will all see, whether he's at United or Newcastle, them two teams, they're great teams that he can go to and really do well. I'm telling you, he will get somewhere between 15 and 20 goals if he's playing for either of us. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to stick it out from here. You can say what you think, no problem, but that's my opinion on what I see before it happens. And also another player, Benson, he's going to be a top player in the leagues. Let's clip that for now, and you can fight me later. Garth, take it away.
Yeah, João Felix. I mean, what Eric you're saying, I can't disagree with. Apart from the 15, 20 goals a season, we don't know. I don't think he's got that in him. I really don't. But what we were discussing earlier, whether Man United should have him, if we're just talking about the player himself, and I keep saying, he's a great player. For me, Man United needs so many other things before we start looking at João Felix, especially at the price and the wages. As you said, he's never done it consistently. Everyone always says, he's playing for...
He has at Benfica, yeah.
Benfica, how many seasons ago was that?
Yeah, but he didn't play in an attacking team after that, did he? He played at Atletico.
But this is my point. Everyone's always like, Atletico Madrid this, Atletico Madrid that. You drop Ibrahimovic in that team, Ibrahimovic scores 25 goals a season, prime Ibrahimovic, minimum.
No, you
can. You drop prime Cavani in that team, he scores 20, 25 goals. Nate, are you honestly trying to tell me that prime Ibrahimovic is scoring 8 goals a season in the Atletico Madrid team? He's not. He's scoring loads of goals. Prime Cavani is, prime Van Persie, and that's all I'm saying is I need a striker.
Yeah, I want a striker as well. Remember that. Yeah, I do want a striker as well. But if we don't get Kane, I'd rather go for him over someone who else is unproven and doesn't show me the technical or IQ levels that this guy does.
I need a striker.
Look at this. He's played in the whole 118 times and up front 38 times.
Yeah.
That's
But-
for all seasons. But then when he was at Benfica, it was a bit different. So
No, hang on. Yeah, but I think you're skewing the figures a bit there because he played. I'm just looking myself. He played 2016 to 2018 Benfica B. He scored 7 goals in 30 games. That's João Felix. He had one season,
That's what I thought, it was one season, yeah.
2018 to
14 goals,
2019, where he scored 15 in 26. Atletico Madrid, 25 goals in 96 games. Chelsea, 4 goals in 16 games. He's not a goal scorer.
But
He's
that's
not
what
a
I'm
goal
saying
scorer.
to you. This is what I'm saying to you. We're not seeing that now because of the environment that he's in. I believe. I'm saying that I believe if he's in a different environment, he will score 15 to 20 goals for Man United. That's what I'm saying. If you don't agree with me that you can't see that it's possible, that's fine. But I'm not saying it based on the past. I'm saying it based on what I can see as a player. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying I agree with you, Nath. He probably is a 15-goal-a-season player. What I'm saying is I need more than that. I need a 25 minimum all competition striker. Felix is a great player, Nath. But what I'm saying is this. Yes, when this team's sorted and we're flying, a João Felix is a lovely option to be like, do you know what? He improves this team here. At the moment, with everything else we need, Felix
So
just ain't on the radar
to you both then, the question to you both is, if Harry Kane don't come, who can you say is very likely, like in your mind, if they came, is likely to hit you 25 goals in the season? Who can you go, yeah, he's getting me 25 goals?
Well, I mean, I can't do it for anyone, but Osimhen clearly looks like a 20 or 25 goal season striker. The Danish kid, the Danish kid, Højlund, he looks very good.
Go and watch him play. Look at his goals and look at his technique, controlling the ball, turns, spins. He's great header. He's a good finisher, but look at his ability when he's on the ball and stuff.
Yeah, but that's all I need.
Yeah, but
great finisher.
Yeah, but that's what Lukaku is. Same thing.
No.
He has the ability to do them things.
No.
All right. I'm just saying what I think. No problem.
He hasn't got the mental ability either, and actually, Lukaku is the perfect example that you just brought up because João Felix, nobody wants him. Every club that gets him on loan or gets him for a season, within a season says, actually, we don't want you. There's got to be, and Lukaku's the same, but Lukaku at least give you goals, And if you compare, but if you compare João Felix to Haaland, João Felix is a much better player. If you ask me who I want as a striker, I'm taking Haaland all day. Haaland isn't the most technically gifted of players, but he hits the back of the net. I want someone who hits the back of the net.
Yeah, I want Kane, but I think he's not coming. So when I look at everyone else, I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to spend 120 mil on an Osimhen and take the chance and think because what I do know about Italy is Dzeko scored 20 plus goals in that season today, and he's 36. 37.
Dzeko's the sort of striker I'm talking about.
I know, but the point is he's scored in the same league and he's this old. So I'm looking at it from that point of view.
But Dzeko was also scoring when he played for City.
About 10 years ago.
I know that, but wherever Dzeko's been, he scored. Well, Ibrahimovic as well.
I was just about to say Ibrahimovic was 36 when he scored 20 goals for us in a season, mate. Like, I don't know. So what are you saying? The Premier League's rubbish? Like, it's not like.
No, I'm telling you that when you look at the player in Osimhen, when you look at what his technical levels are, I'm saying to you that I'm not sure whether he can do it in England. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying about Felix, though, mate.
Yeah, but I can't see it.
I 20 games over it.
Look at Sterling. Sterling, he didn't do much today this season, did he?
Sterling, I've just looked at Sterling's stats. He scored 6 goals and got 9 assists in 38 games. That's not horrific.
It's not great. He's been scoring 25 a season.
But that's still a hell of a lot better than Felix. Felix has got 4 goals and no assists in 20 games, or 18 games, 16 games.
We'll see. This is what I'm saying. We will see. We will see when he comes to Newcastle or United.
No, he won't come to United because I don't think he's a Ten Hag player. He doesn't put effort. He doesn't put effort in, and by all accounts, he's got bad attitude, which is why he keeps moving from club to club. I don't think Ten Hag will get him. I think he'll do okay at Newcastle, but where's he going to play? Whose place has he taken at Newcastle?
Who's in the hole? Who's in the hole?
Yeah, so if you want him in the hole, where's he going to play for United?
He can play because we got a space up front. We don't have that space up front. But for Newcastle, they have Isak, so they don't need him up front. They can put him in the hole.
Which means he isn't that good a striker, is he? Because if he can't displace
No, I'm saying
Isak,
Isak will play up front, and then he would play in the home.
But why?
That's how you can
That's
put
my
both
point.
in the side.
Yeah, no, but my point is, if he is that good and he's such a good goal scorer, which is what we're saying we need, why would Newcastle take him and play him in the hole?
Because they need that position. Man United,
and I agree.
Striker, and if Kane ain't coming, I'll take him.
No, he's not a striker, man. Yeah.
I know he's not an out-and-out striker. I know this. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying. So, I'm saying in our team, he will get enough chances to make that front three fluid and good enough to do better than someone other than Kane, if you get what I'm saying. With the options that are out there, think about what Pep did. He didn't get Haaland, he didn't get Kane, he didn't get no one because no one was good enough. And I'm saying
he wanted Kane and he didn't get him, and then he got Haaland. Yep. He's pulled his mic out. He's so.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So yeah, exactly. Exactly. But what? No, we can't. But what? We can. But what he didn't do.
You can hear me, yeah?
What he did.
What's that noise?
What he didn't. Yeah, I don't know. But what he didn't do is go and get an inferior quality person to play up front for him.
Because I don't think need to. We need to.
No, but the point is,
we need
so as Garth said, in two things, if you're going to play him in the hole, not a problem. I think he's good there. We don't need him. And if you got a Kane or somebody who's going to bang in the goal and you get him as well, fine. I've got an issue. But I guarantee you, if we're going to get him, we're going to pay something like 80, 90 million. We should not be paying 80, 90 million for someone who can't score enough goals. If you're going to pay 80, 90 million.
Right, so you think that if he came to United, he wouldn't get
is
many
the asking
goals.
Price for him. That's
115 for him.
Yeah, they paid 109 mil for him.
But there's another year off his line now. How many years has he got left now? He must have going down now,
it's still 100 mil. It's still over 100 mil for him, mate.
Yeah,
it's still over 100 mil.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to command that anymore. I think that if they are going to sell him, he'll go for less. You'll see him go for less. I believe he will go for less. Yeah, and if he does, it will be Newcastle or probably United will probably be in for him. We'll see what happens. But my point is I can't see anybody else being a surefire person. Even Felix isn't a surefire player like as a number 9. But what I'm saying is the best options out there for me. My favorite choice, if Kane doesn't come, I'd rather take him than get that Congalo guy who scored in the World Cup, or go for Ramos. Yeah, or go for Osimhen, or go for anyone else, this Vlahovic or whatever. He's not. I don't know, but for that, something inside me says I don't want them players.
He's got a feeling in his waters. I know what you're saying, Dave. I do. I mean, Jonathan Martin's brought up another great name because this is a young kid. If you're going to take a gamble, I would take a gamble on Evan Ferguson. I really would.
I'd take him as well. Yeah, I'd take him as well.
Do you know what? What I would say is I trust in Ten Hag.
So, exactly. Yeah.
And I've said this before. I don't want to be going for these flash in the pan big names just because João Felix is a name and he's been at Atletico, he's been at Chelsea. We're all talking about him. What I actually want is for Ten Hag to have a scouting system, and he's found some guy in the middle of career or whatever who's absolutely phenomenal that we've never heard of and comes in. That's what we should be doing. João Felix, because we're saying João as a second player. We're saying João Felix. Yeah, but we're saying João Felix because there's no one else.
I'm saying that because Ten Hag wanted him in Christmas. He wanted him.
As a stopgap.
From what I read, he didn't want him.
He wanted him in. And that's it. The reality is he was good enough to want him in. Obviously, it's nothing like Weghorst, I don't think. But I do think he did want him in for a certain reason. He probably was his first choice, and then he had nothing left, and he thought, right, Weghorst, let me just put my finger on this. Yeah, Weghorst, yeah, there it is. So that's what you probably got. But anyway, look. Enough about that. I've said my piece. You said you won't think he will score that amount. If he comes, then we'll see if it really happens. If he goes Newcastle, we'll make sure we talk about that. You can run it back and kill me.
Yeah, I'm not saying he won't score 15 goals a season. I'm saying he ain't a 25 goal a season man. And there's a lot of players out there with the potential to be 25 goal season men.
I'm not being funny, but hasn't Mason Mount scored as many, if not more than him this season?
Yeah, Mason Mount scored as many. He's got 3. Or 4. Yeah. Mason Mount's got more assists. Like 6 more assists.
So was Sterling.
Yeah, no, but that's the point.
It doesn't really, that doesn't really make the point of what you're saying. Like He can
No,
score
he
goals,
does.
and he has got the ability. I've watched him in games where he's been so good up there, but the others don't see it. And Gary Neville mentioned the same thing when he said, I've not seen him in real life until this game against United, and he really does look a player. And
Gary Neville also thought taking the Valencia job was going to be a good thing, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as he said what I've said, Ten Hag has wanted him. Ten Hag has wanted him. He said what I've said, and Newcastle are probably after him now. So there must be a reason. Let's see what happens. Anyway,
I think Newcastle.
Newcastle
Newcastle after him for the same reason. I think a lot of us fans are talking about. He's the big name out there at the moment that you can guarantee is for sale.
Here's something I'm going to tell you now. Then here's another one. Yeah. If they get him and we don't get Kane, Newcastle finishing above us. Yeah,
no,
heard it here first. Newcastle
not just on that. Not on them.
I'm saying that I will see because they will now be scoring even more goals. Defending how they've been defending this year, where it was nils and nils and nils, getting more ability to score, they're going to finish above us. If we can't go and fill that gap, we're in trouble. Simple.
We'll fill the gap. We just won't fill it with Felix. We'll fill the gap.
We'll see. But I'm hoping it is him. If it isn't Kane. So anyway,
listen, this ain't Neymar for me. If tomorrow it turns out that we're getting Felix, I'm happy. This ain't like if we get Neymar, I'm going to be absolutely furious about it. So he's a great player. But
Curly's made a great point, though. The reality for us is we need confirmation of the sell. Then it dictates the budget and the quality of player. Kane for me is going to stay at Spurs, and I think he will as well. That's why I'm getting upset.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
But we've got a few minutes left. We've gone to 1 hour. I mean, it's all about the FA Cup now. Let's go. Have your thoughts on this, because give me 1 minute of your time, both of you, to talk to me about what you think is going to happen Saturday. Come Saturday, how do Man United win that game? And can United win that game? Garth.
Yeah, we can. How do we win? Sniper in the stands, taking out De Bruyne and Haaland at the knees 2 minutes in, you know. No, listen, I am old school. I love the FA Cup. I don't know how you boys feel about it. I think it's one of the best competitions. I love that we're in the final against Man City. Anything can happen. It's final day. I'm confident. 2-1 United. I don't need to say anymore. Let's go. Wembley, Man United winners. Let's go. Stop that treble.
Is that your heart?
That's everything, mate. That's my waters, my heart, my head,
your heart and your
my
mind.
knees. Yeah, I can feel it in my knees, mate. I can feel it in my elbows. I'm like wet, mate. Everywhere around me.
One sec, Hakeem. Before we do, let's see what Curlis is saying. The reality for us is we need. Oh, sorry. I will say it now. If the Glazers stay in the capacity, we finish 5th next year. I agree with it, because we're going to be in big trouble. I have us down for a United 2-1 win. That's see them bottling it. Hakeem, can you see them bottling it? Or are they going to come and bottle us?
No.
Put us in the bottle and shake us and go, what's going to happen?
I don't see them bottling it. However, this is our last game of the season. We've got nothing else. Everything is riding on this, where they've got the European Cup final. So every single person, I don't care who you are, you know, when we win the treble, the vast majority of that team is British. So they all love the FA Cup. Whereas this team, the FA Cup, it's a nice trophy to have. But if you asked any single person in that team, bar people like Grealish and Stones, they'd rather have the European Cup than the FA Cup. So I think they're going to have one eye on that, and we're going to be 100% focused on that. And I think Ten Hag is, he's a good strategist. Yeah, they guaranteed they've got a better team than us. There's no doubt about that in those positions. But it's the FA Cup, so I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that we're going to win because we've beaten them before. We've beaten Barcelona. Barcelona are no worse than them. And they're significantly better than us if you look at the way they play, but we still beat them. So I think if we play our game and don't focus too much on them, I think we've got a very good chance. I don't know. It might just be rose-colored spectacles, but the closer we get to it, the more confident I am. About a month ago, when we beat Brighton in the semi-final, I was thinking, "Oh God, we're going to get absolute mullered," because we weren't playing well at that time. But we've just come in to a bit of form, and City have started to take their foot off the gas, preparing for a week and a half time. So I think this is probably the best time to play them, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'm going to say my last piece then. I don't feel so optimistic as you guys. I don't, but I hope I'm totally wrong. I hope I'm totally wrong. I think it can go anyway. Obviously, it can, but it's either we're gonna either get slapped to pieces or it's gonna be as tight as hell. I don't think it's gonna just be like a nice 1-0, 2-0. I think, you know what, if we can get a goal first, then I can like feel right. We might have something to hang our hats on, and then we can counter them again. But if they go up early, we're in trouble. We're in trouble because my guy is a Man United supporter, and his dad used to play for United. And he was like, you know what I want to happen? City to score on 44 minutes and then on 47 minutes. I was like, that's the worst thing ever. Imagine just before half time, after United, they soak up the pressure and they score. And then we come out second half going, we still can get back in this, and they score straight away. That would be the worst ever scenario. But look, I think Rashford will probably play up front. Garnacho will probably be on the left. Probably Sancho or Bruno might even end up being out there. You might even see Fred and Casemiro. Or I don't know how you're going to see it or what you're going to do, but
he's starting Voot, mate.
Sleep,
he's starting Voot up top. I'd put money on it. I'd put
a
pound note.
In the hole?
Yeah, wherever. No, I reckon he won't start Garnacho. I reckon you'll have Rashi and Sancho on the wings and Woot through the centre up top. Yeah. I can't see it any other way. He loves Woot. So
please do not start out. You cannot score a goal to save your life. So
that's the hero story, mate. No, that's the hero story I've got in my head, mate. Voot starts, it's 1-0 down at half time. He scores a banging header on 60 minutes, and then the winner on the 88th minute, mate. Oh, who was it? It was Wigan, weren't it? They lost 10 years ago when they lost to Wigan, mate. Who was that? Who scored the header? Yeah, I can see Voot doing that for us, mate.
Yeah.
I think his name now. The English centre mid, weren't it? It's
not the English. He's Scottish, wasn't he?
Yeah. Was he Scottish? He's British, definitely. Anyway, yeah.
I can see his face. I just anyway, doesn't matter. Thanks everyone in the comments. It's been absolutely amazing. Curler says key is Sancho on the right. He has to be on the right for him to shine. Total change of character. It's like you put the real Sancho to stand up once he's on the right. Take him on the left. He's nowhere to be seen. So yeah, keep him on the right, man, and we'll probably see more and better from him.
Do we have any update on Anthony? Is Anthony definitely out for the final?
No, he's not definitely out, but we'll see that tomorrow, and then we'll have the pre-match. Hopefully, me and you, Garth, will do the
Ben Watson. Thank you, Jonathan. Ben Watson, that's the fella. Yeah.
It was Ben Watson. Yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot, Garth. Thanks a lot, Hakeem, for coming.
Pleasure, mate.
It's been a great one. To be fair, I've enjoyed this a lot. Hopefully, you guys on the comments hit your like and subscribe if you've liked this it as well. And make sure you hit the notifications, because tomorrow we'll be doing the preview for the big one, and that's it. And then we'll be talking about our team of the season in the league, the whole league team of the season next week. I'd like to see what everybody's team is. I've chosen an amazing team. I think that's based on, and it's not even a fair team. Like, I've not even made it fair, by the way. I've just done midfielders, whether you're defensive, attacking, or just normal, you're in the same bracket. Midfield, attack, you're just an attacker. So I'm not going, I need a right sider, I need a central. I'm just playing who was the best in the front three, the best in the middle three, and the best at the four.
Is this when we find out you've got Saka at left back because he played there once 6 years ago? You know, he's a left back to me, mate. You know?
I keep starting the car. Harry's waiting for the lift.
Don't worry. I think he lives quite close to me. I'll go and pick him up, and Phil Jones at the same time. In fact, I can get a job lotting.
Right then, guys. Thanks a lot again.
Single charge on the Uber app. Single charge.
See you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.